conference in London. Can you guys see this? Maybe angle it a little more like that. No, I didn't know what it was. Like I had no context for it, but I saw the drawing and I went, yes. And this was the drawing. So there were two people. And with had little halos. And then one of them had that going on. And then the other one had that going on.
I think I dated the one on the left.
And then that going on. And I looked at that drawing, and I just thought, well, that's it right there. It's the whole thing. It's everything we're going to be talking about today. So, first break. Let me explain what was going on in my head when I saw that. So, this is us. We're human beings, and we have this innate wisdom, this innate well-being, this innate connection to whatever it is that this larger soup that we're all a part of. Right? I don't know what it is, but I know I'm not in charge. I don't know about you. I know I didn't bring myself here. And we're part of an energy, right? The physicists talk about it as, the energy of life, or that we're all made of the same energy, and E equals mc squared, right? Well, energy is matter. It's just a question of how fast it's going, what form it takes. And energy can never be created or destroyed. It can just change forms. It can transform, right? Well, we're of that energy. Well, there's a part of us that just is always in touch with that. But the reason that we don't operate in perfect harmony and flow all the time, anyone operate in perfect harmony and flow all the time? No. The reason we don't is because we think. Right? And that thinking, now some of that thinking is useful, a little bit of it. Some of it's necessary just to navigate the world in which we live. But it starts to kind of squish this thing down a bit. It starts to kind of fill that space up. Now, if we only have a bit of it going on and coming in, that's fine. We can flow with that. We can live in a flow of thought. You don't have to stop your thoughts. Right? They'll flow through. They'll just pass through the space. But the space is untouched by it. But then what happens is, we think a lot about everything. And then at some point, somebody teaches us that there's something wrong with the way we think, and so we start to accumulate a bunch of thinking about our thinking. Right? Oh, I shouldn't think this, I should think that, and I shouldn't think this way, and I should think that way, and I'm going to go on a course that teaches me how to think this way, but not that way, or how to stop doing it, and it goes on forever, and we totally lose sight of this. It's like it gets squashed out, it gets drowned out, like a flute drowned out by a marching band. Now, this bit wasn't on the drawing, but this just shows you my kind of warped sense of humor. I thought, well, okay, so when you have more on your mind, you kind of become a bit of a moron. Right? We do that. Right? We got so much going on up here that we make terrible choices. We make terrible decisions, or we think we can't make a decision because it's too much. I don't know what to do. And we lose our way. We lose our bearings. When we've got less on our mind, well, life gives us lessons. We learn. We learn from life. We learn from what happens. Because that's part of the design. We're designed to live on a learning curve. You're not supposed to know how to do what you don't know how to do, but you are designed to learn it easily. We are natural-born learners. Learning does not take effort. Okay, when you were little and you were learning how to walk, you didn't learn how to walk because you wanted to impress a girl, right? Or to show your look at me, check it out, right? We did it because we wanted to get somewhere, right? We wanted to get somewhere. And so we tried the crawling thing, and that was pretty efficient. Some of us did the butt shuffle, right? But at some point, we kind of looked around and went, that two-legged thing looks cool. And so we started to try and figure it out. And it didn't matter how often we felt out. We didn't have self-esteem issues about it. It's like, oh, God, I hope they didn't see me fall. Okay, I'll try it again when there's no one looking. Right? I just want to get the cookie. I just want the cookie. And so you learn to get the cookie. We didn't learn to talk to impress our parents. We didn't learn to talk to show what bright people we were. We learned to talk because we wanted to communicate, and it turns out that that's a pretty efficient way of doing it. Well, somewhere along the line, we go to school, most of us, and then we're taught. And we're not taught the way we're designed to learn, generally speaking. And so we kind of have a lot of thinking about learning. And we start thinking, oh, no, I'm a bad student, or I'm a good student, and it becomes about us instead of about learning. Well, as soon as it's about you, you're screwed. Right? As soon as it starts to feel like, no, this is about me proving something to myself, or proving something to the world, well, that opening isn't there anymore because it's full of my thinking about stuff and continual evaluations of how am I doing, how am I doing, how am I doing. I used to call how am I doing the death question. Because it's kind of the death to creativity and performance, because my attention's in the wrong place. My attention's on the thinking in my head instead of on the task at hand. And obviously when my attention's on the thinking in my head and not on the task at hand, I'm not going to do as well with the task at hand. That's just common sense. So the less I have on my mind, the more the natural learning takes place. The less I have on my mind, the more my natural performance capability comes through.